Hello everyone, my name is Bjarne Sørensen and this is a short introductory video into the subject Planned Market Research and or Managed Market Research. You may do one or both of these subjects at the same time. When you complete the assessment, you will cover the learning criteria for both subjects. Now, topic 1, Introduction and Research Preparation. If you open that topic, you can have a read through the first part of this course. It's an introduction into market research. And the point of research basically is that in order to succeed in business, you need to understand your customers. You need to give them what they want. You need to tailor your offerings to customer needs and wants. I used to work as a consultant here in Adelaide, and was quite amazed by how many companies would develop products with very little consideration for customer needs and wants. Thereafter, they would take these products and try and sell them on to people in the marketplace. A much better approach is to really try and understand your customers and then tailor your offerings to their needs and wants. Now, you can read through what market research is and the need for research, etc., yourself. But what I would like to just briefly talk to you about is an overview of this course. Now, market research is quite complex. A lot of people a lot of people in business do not understand how to do a good research project. But I dare say that when you're done with this course, you'll have a very good understanding of how to conduct very good research. So what we do in this course is that we divide research into 9 steps, and you do 1 or 2 steps at a time. And you sort of like don't worry too much about all the rest. First of all, you define the problem. Thereafter, you define the research objectives. And when you focus on just 1 step at a time, everything becomes a whole lot simpler and easier. So let's have a look at defining the research problem. Research is normally very expensive. You may do it for free this time around while you undertake your studies, but in the future you'll probably want to charge if you want to work in market research. And market research is very expensive. So it could be a lucrative field to enter. Now, first of all, you need to have some sort of problem or issue that you would like to solve. Otherwise, you don't conduct market research. Maybe sales has been falling over the last few years, or maybe a manager in a business simply don't understand very much about their customers. They don't know if customers are really happy with the business offerings. When you have identified the problem, when you have made a statement about the problem, the next step is or problems. The next step is to identify research objective. This is the information that you would need to collect in order to be able to solve the problems. So the research objectives could be all sorts of things. Let's say that sales are falling in a business, and management believe it may be due to a badly designed website, or not very good products, or poor service. Then you would have 3 research objectives. You could research if sales are falling due to the poorly designed website, or due to the website, due to the products or services. And these would basically become your research objectives. You would need to collect this information that you state here to work out why sales are falling up here. Step number 3 is research design or research methodology. You need to design a plan for how you will collect the information that you need to solve your problems. Now, the research design, you have 3 main options for your research. What people normally do when they conduct research is that they start out by conducting exploratory research. This is a type of research where you look at quality information. That's why it's called qualitative research as well. Christopher Columbus did this type of research many years ago, 500 and some years ago. He had a theory or a hypothesis that he could reach India, where back then Europeans traded a fair bit with India, but it was a very costly exercise to actually get to India. You had to sail all the way from Europe, south of Africa, and up to India. And it was a very long and dangerous journey. But Christopher Columbus believed that if he would sail west, he could reach India much faster. So he set out on exploratory research. He sailed west and he found what he initially believed was India, but it turned out, of course, as we know now, to be the Americas. Now, that sort of exploratory research is clearly exploratory in nature, and you need to do similar research, not necessarily go out and do things similar to what Christopher Columbus did, but you need to, for example, go online and look at social media comments that are made about the business that you're focusing on. You could, for example, if you are doing this research for a retail outlet, you can look at what people are saying about this particular research outlet online. Get an understanding of what people are thinking and feeling about the business. You may do secondary research, you may do observational research, you could potentially do focus groups or in-depth interviews. But if you're doing any type of research where you need to actually sit down with people and talk to them, you need to discuss this and get approval from your lecturer first. The next type of research that you do when you're done with the exploratory research is descriptive research or quantitative research. This is basically surveys. The final type of research is causal research, and this is a type of research that I very much doubt any of you will be using, but I'll still briefly introduce you to that research method. It is a research method where you change one factor and then you observe what happens or measure what happens to something else. For example, let's say you own a pub and you have a hypothesis that if you increase the temperature in that pub, you could sell more beer. Now, you could measure how many beers you sell in a given month. And in the following month, you could try and increase the temperature and then observe or measure how many beers you sell that month. And then you could compare the two, and that's a type of causal research. If you believe you can do causal research, again, you need to talk to your lecturer about how we can go about doing that. Identify data types and sources. You got two main sources of data, primary and secondary, and you can read more about that in the following sessions. We have some very good research resources at TAFE. Later on in step 5, you need to design your surveys. You need to decide in step 6 who you want to give these surveys to. And some thinking has to go into that. You need to carefully plan who these surveys should be handed to. And you have a few different sampling methods that you need to discuss in your assignment. You need to collect the data. Of course, if you use something like SurveyMonkey, this is quite straightforward. You need to analyze and interpret the data. And again, if you use SurveyMonkey, this is fairly straightforward. And finally, you need to prepare the research report, which your client will normally pay for, but this time around, chances are you'll be doing it for free. I hope this video gave you a bit of an overview to this subject, and what you need to do now is basically just start to do your readings.